Alright, what's good guys? Welcome back. I have just got myself in the car and I think it's about 3 p.m. I've got Freddie boy sat next to me, and if you watched yesterday's walk video, you'd have heard that I'm not feeling very well, and today I was taking the day off, relaxing on the sofa, and because I have a dog, I have a responsibility, and I couldn't be bothered to walk him, honestly, and I was convincing myself all day that letting him out in the garden would be enough and that should be enough because I'm not feeling well. And I had to just remind myself for a second that how I'm feeling should not make a difference. It should not impact Freddie's life and what he gets up to in a day. And it's not a good enough excuse. You know, I've got a sore throat, my energy's slightly down, and because of that, Freddie doesn't get to go outside today. You know, I had to catch myself being a bad dog parent, trying to convince myself that he'll be all right. And as the day was progressing, he was becoming more and more restless, which then in turn makes me annoyed because he won't leave me alone. And whose fault is that? It's my fault. So, you know, I had to get my lazy bum off the sofa, and now he is next to me in the car and we're going to his favourite woods, which is where we were yesterday. And the reason I wanted to make this video is mainly because I myself put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure every day I take Freddie out, he has an interesting walk. And because of that, sometimes I feel bad, I feel guilty as a dog owner for not taking him on like really exciting walks, or what I think is an exciting walk, because of how I'm feeling, or because it's late, or, you know, I'll try and make any old excuse. And I think what we as dog owners need to remind ourselves is that our dogs, they don't care where they go for a walk, and they don't always care how long the walk is. All they care about is that they get to hang out with us, and they don't know that they're not in their favourite woods. If they are just going for a walk around the block on a lead, the chances of them genuinely caring and actually having a sleepless night because they didn't get to go and sniff the woodlands today because you felt unwell, it's just not happening. They just want to be with you. They just want to hang out with you. So I have forced myself into the car. I am forcing myself to the woods because I want to give Freddie the best life while he's while he's on the planet. But I didn't need to do that because I know deep down that just a walk around the block would have been good enough for him. He would have enjoyed that probably just as much because he's hanging out with me. He gets to pee up lampposts and have a sniff around. So in one hand, it's important for us dog owners not to pressure ourselves to go above and beyond for our dogs every single day of the week, because sometimes it's just physically not possible to do so. And on the other side, just like remembering that our precious four-legged friends, they don't require a lot. They don't ask for a lot. They need to go for a pee. They need to go for a poo. They need to have a sniff about. And they need a comfortable bed to sleep on at night. And whatever time you have spare to play around, you know, they're never going to turn that down. They're never going to say no to that. But I guess the message here is that, you know, we need to appreciate our dogs every single day, because let's be honest, a dog's life, it's not long enough. And you know, one minute they're puppies and the next thing they're growing grey hairs, which Freddie's currently growing on his face. He's becoming a senior citizen, and each new grey hair that he develops on his face every single day is a little reminder for me that he is getting old. He won't be here forever, which I guess is what's brought me into the car, even though I don't feel like it, you know, just to give him what I perceive as a more exciting walk for him than what would have been if I walked him around the block. Even though for him it wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. Like, it's me getting in my own head to give him his best life. And actually in his little head, in his little triangular brain, by the way, I think a Whippet's brain is the shape and size of a Dorito, he doesn't care. That makes no difference to him. All he wants is a blanket, a smelly lamppost, and a piece of chicken, and that's it. So what is it that I'm actually trying to say in this video? I'm just going off on a little rant. I feel like I needed it, just because of like pent up energy from sitting on the sofa all day, trying to just rest and recover from this cold. Firstly, I tried to convince myself that him walking around in the garden would have been fine. Then he started to get like a bit annoying because he hasn't had exercise. Then I started to feel guilty. Because of my guilty feeling, I was trying to think, okay, where can I take him on a walk that he's really going to enjoy? And then I realized, like, actually he wouldn't care if we went to a mountain or if we went around the block. And then him getting older, I'm like, I do put pressure on myself to just like give him what I think is a good walk. And then because of all of these different feelings and emotions throughout the day, and my pent up energy, his pent up energy, we are now in a car going to his favorite woods. And I guess in a big roundabout way, he's benefiting, I'm benefiting, because I'm out, I'm getting fresh air, I'm not at home feeling sorry for myself. He gets an extended off-lead walk, which is just better for him. But I think as a whole, you know, as dog owners, it's important for us not to put too much pressure on ourselves to provide them with like Disneyland walks every single day, because it is not essential. But also not to allow what goes on in our daily lives and how we're feeling to affect our dog's life and what our dog has the ability to experience, because, you know, it's not fair for us to hold them back just because we've got a little bit of a sore throat. Bit of a long, random, weird, long-winded rant, but I feel better for it. So yeah, we are on our way to the Purbright Woods. Which is a nice drive. There's one set of traffic lights that I have to go through. I don't need to go past any schools. There's no speed bumps, there's no traffic. There's always a place to park because I go down this like dirt track, and I think because it's, you know, a little bit out of the way, you don't really get too many people there walking dogs, and if you do see a dog that you'd rather avoid, you can avoid them because there's multiple paths you could dart off into the woods, which is just nice, because some days, you know, I don't want to walk past another human, just don't feel like human interaction. And then on other days, you know, if I see a human and I feel like saying hello, then I can just stay on the path and say hello. So we're here now. I'm just about to pull into the dirt track, which I will film for you guys, just so you can get a little POV as to what we drive down. So this is one of the entrances into the Purbright Woods, but if you go the other end, then it is tarmac and there are parking spaces, so you don't require a 4x4 to get in. I'm currently driving my 2004 Volkswagen Touareg, which is great fun. It was a cheap car to buy. It's done 177,000 miles. And yeah, it just keeps on going. So we are here at the woods. Gonna take tissue with me. Poo bags, as always, the absolute essentials. Are you ready, mate? Are you ready for this? You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You gonna jump over? Go on then. Go on then. You can do it. Well done, mate. Off he goes. Right, let me just get my bits together. Dearie me. So, two things that I messed up on yesterday. I parked the car here and I left the passenger door open, wide open for the entire walk. And I also didn't bring any tissue, so I had to do the whole walk just like absolutely bunged up, which is not very nice. But anyway, it's another nice day. The sun is setting. Don't know if you can quite tell, but the sun is going down, and it will be getting dark relatively soon. I've completely lost track of the time, so yeah, I don't know what time it is. Feels like it might be like 3:30 or so, maybe 4. Probably just do our usual route. Same again today. He is coatless, collarless. As firstly, it's still not that cold. When he is off lead on walks like this, because he is moving so much, he warms up pretty quickly. You know what, it's amazing to me how much he's already peed. Because here I was in the car talking about how I was convincing myself that he would just be fine walking around in the garden. And like, he went out this morning and did his business, But obviously now, because we're out and about and he's got an opportunity to, you know, stretch his legs a bit, I think it just helps loosen a dog up. And well, I just think they enjoy peeing and pooing out in the wild rather than just constantly pooing where they pooed the day before. And same with the wee situation. I might just be making that up, but there is definitely something about Freddie and his bathroom behaviours. For example, he won't go to the bathroom in the garden if the grass is short. Like, if you've looked after the garden and it's in like really good condition, he won't go to the bathroom in it. And I don't really know what that's all about. Part of me feels like he thinks he's like almost indoors, or as if he's too close to where he has his dinner, because it's kept so tidy. It's like he's in a house, so he almost refuses to go to the bathroom. But the second you let him loose in the woods, he's peeing and pooing all over the place. I don't know if you guys have experienced that with your dogs, more specifically your Whippets. If you have, then get involved in the comments and let me know. If there is one thing that I love about having a dog, is that it really does force you outside. It gives you a really good reason to go for a walk and to just get out. If I didn't have Freddie, I definitely would not be here right now enjoying a sunset walk in the woods. I just wouldn't be here. It wouldn't have even crossed my mind to come and enjoy the outdoors. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of you guys. And if you are watching this and you don't have a dog and you're thinking about getting a dog, but you're worried about time or knowledge or whatever the case may be, like whatever's stopping you from getting a dog, and if there are things that are stopping you from getting a dog, I'd urge you to come up with a solution, and do your best to figure out what it is that's actually stopping you from getting a dog, if you want a dog, that is. Because, you know, life gets busy, and we as humans will always find a reason or an excuse to not do something. And when it comes to a dog, I know it's a live creature and it is our responsibility, but what they have to give back is so huge, it makes everything worth it. It forces you out for exercise, for a walk. You get to see so many new different sights, because the second you get a dog, you're like, oh, you know, go for a walk here, go for a walk there, the dog might enjoy it. You get to learn about them and their personality. You get to build a relationship and a bond. There's always someone at home ready and waiting to greet you. They don't whinge, they don't complain. They're just happy little critters that, you know what, they really are angels without wings. They're such precious little things. And that goes for any breed as well. Don't get me wrong, there are dogs out there that may be aggressive, they might bark a lot, but whether you like it or not, that's 100% down to the owners. So if you are worried that you might get a dog that's, that is going to bark too much, or will run off, or will not behave, it's really important to understand that all of these things are trainable. You don't get a dog and it's either good or bad. All dogs are great. It's just then up to you to make them better and to teach them and to be the leader of the pack, as dramatic as that sounds. I almost didn't want to say it because it sounds stupid. But you really do have to be in charge. And yeah, again, teach them, guide them, be there for them. And mostly just give them the best life that you can provide them. And like I was saying in the car, it doesn't take a lot. It takes a walk, a blanket, and a piece of chicken. And you've got yourself a best friend who's going to be there with you for, let's hope, up to 15 years. They will always be there by your side. They will never let you down. Like, granted, Freddie low-key lets me down every single day when I leave something for 30 seconds and then I find it chewed up. Like, not furniture, not important things. Like yesterday, for example, I blew my nose and I left the roll of toilet paper on the coffee table. I went to pee and I came back and the toilet roll was like shredded. I'm just like, dude, we've just got back from a really nice walk. You've just had chicken for dinner. I've got a nice blanket for you on the sofa. I'm here doing everything I can for you. And you want to chew up toilet paper. What's that all about? But even with silly little things like that, honestly, I just find it funny. Because it's just silly. It's just like puppy behaviour. And as long as he doesn't do it to a pair of shoes, I don't mind what he does. Now that right there was a genuine sigh of relief to just be out here. It's such a nice afternoon. The birds are tweeting. I'm here with my best mate. And we're just doing our thing, minding our own business. Getting some steps in. What's there not to love about this? So yeah, going back to, if you are a person who is thinking about getting a dog, I have to be very clear when I say this. Like, I'm not a dog trainer, I'm not a professional in any way, but I have had dogs before, and I know many people with dogs. So if you do have questions that you would like to share in the comments, then just post them. It doesn't matter how silly they may sound. Just post them and I will respond. And if anyone else sees it, I'm sure they will also respond and help guide, reassure, whatever it is that you need as a person who doesn't currently own a dog, who wants a dog. They are so delightful. And they have so many different uses and like purposes as well. Especially like purebred doggies. I was watching a YouTube channel the other day, and there's a company, and I forget the name, but they have like a team of terriers, and they're basically a ratting company, and they use the dogs to hunt and kill rats. And I was like, damn, this is old school. What is this all about? And then I learned that on farmland, if they get like a problem with rats, obviously they can't put rat poison down because excuse me, because if the chickens eat it, pigs eat it, horses, whatever animal the farm may have, it's going to do harm to the animal. So what better way of fixing a rat issue than bringing in a load of doggies who were built for it, who will have a great time doing it, do it somewhat humanely while not putting farm animals in danger with poison. And I just found it fascinating, and I really enjoyed watching, like, as weird as it sounds, I really enjoyed watching the terriers do what they were designed to do, because you can tell that it was just like the best day. They really enjoyed just being at work. And while I was watching it, there was one that almost got away, and then a Whippet came out of nowhere and just got involved in the conversation, and I loved it. It was it was a little bit graphic, but you know, I appreciated just watching the dogs at work doing what they do really, really well, while helping out a farmer, helping out farmland, and getting rid of pests. And part of me wanted to contact them and to see if I could actually get Freddie involved, because I know that he would have an absolute great time ratting, if that's even what it's called. So we've been walking now for about 15 minutes, and this is like the halfway mark of our usual route. So about 15 minutes back to the car. The sun is still coming through the trees. I can slowly feel the temperature dropping. You right there, cheeky? Honestly, look at him. He just has the best time. Come here, mate. No thanks, I'm in the woods. I'm in my favourite place. I mentioned in yesterday's video that one of the greatest things you can do as a dog owner is to teach your dog manners and recall. Good boy. Because it just allows you to enjoy the walk as much as they enjoy it, because you don't have to worry about your dog getting involved in other people's business. You don't have to worry about your dog not coming back. You know, you can just enjoy the sights, enjoy the fresh air. One of the things that I really enjoy doing while I'm out on a walk is just watching him in his like natural habitat, sniffing out squirrels and, you know, whatever it is that he wants to do. I just enjoy watching him bobbing up and down. I also like it when he does this. He goes one way, and then I say, "This way!" And then he gets all excited and runs back around to catch up. Another genuine sigh of relief just to be out here. Clear blue sky. There really is something to be said about peace and quiet and just minding your own business, being involved in nothing, and letting your mind just completely escape from noise. And when I say noise, I'm talking about road noise. I'm talking about noise inside of your head, the voice in the back of your head that's telling you that you need a newer car, a bigger house, more money, a bigger paying job, a better job. Noise about body concerns and what you look like and social media and how many followers you don't have and how many likes you're going to get on your next post. Being out here with absolutely nothing, not even any signal, not even a single phone notification, is absolutely everything. And peace and quiet is something that I do not take for granted, and I appreciate every second of it. It truly means everything to me. And if you're watching this right now and you're going through something in life, I know it's easy for me to say because right now things are steady, things are okay, but if you are going through something, please just take yourself somewhere. If you have a dog, take your dog. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Just go for a walk. Put your phone on do not disturb. If it's this time of year, maybe take a flask, take a coffee with you, or a cup of tea, maybe a snack, and just walk. And just take time for yourself. Touch a tree, pick up a rock, and just look at what's around you. The planet is truly a beautiful thing to behold, and crikey, might start crying in a minute. But sometimes all we need is for everybody to just leave us alone. We need no opinions from anybody. We need no ideas. We need nothing. We just need space, time, peace and quiet. What that can do for your brain and your body is really quite powerful. And yeah, when I'm out here in the woods and I'm just watching how happy Freddie is with nothing. The boy owns nothing. And like, granted, he doesn't have to worry about a mortgage or rent or fuel prices. But like, you know, I've said it so many times, a blanket, a chicken breast, and something to sniff. That's it. And I'm not saying as humans we can make our lives that simple, but on the flip side, it is so easy to get caught up in debt and thinking that we need to keep up with everybody else. I think phones and social media are one of the biggest things that we can blame. Another thing I keep beating on about is the trip to Wales that Anushka surprised me with. And it was hands down the best trip I've ever taken. Brecon Beacons, me, her, Freddie, with nothing, no signal, minimal gas. We ended up running out and having to cook on open fire. It was just pure bliss. And it reminded me how quiet actually is. Even where I am now, I can hear the road. If I could be further away from the road right now, I would be. But we're not, so we're making the most of what we have. Speaking of which, if you do live in the city or a town and you don't have access to woodlands like this, I would recommend going on Google Maps and having a look at options for you. If you can drive, amazing. If not, how much is it going to cost to get an Uber to go to a viewing point or something of the sort? And you know, if you've got yourself some nice noise cancelling headphones, chuck those on, block everything out. If you can walk, amazing. If it's just a viewpoint to sit at, just sit and enjoy nothingness, enjoy stillness. Be selfish in that moment and use that time for yourself. Come on, my mate. Anyway, enough life advice. It's amazing that, you know, well, I mean, that little life advice rant was a prime example of the power a walk can have. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have the ability to think like that in such positive ways when I'm at work or I'm sat at home stuck in my own head. But the second you get out and about, you get some blood flowing, you get your heart rate up a little bit. There's something about it that just kind of fixes you, helps get your head straight. So we're not too far away from the car now. This is actually quite a steep incline, and I've been a fool and I've not tied up my shoelace, and I'm wearing Dr. Martens, which are already not the most comfortable shoe. Oh dear. I have ordered a chest mount and also a microphone, just to improve the quality of this style of video for the future. I promise you, I'm not this unfit. It's just because of this damn cold that I don't know if I've mentioned. At this point, it is truly man flu. The type of man flu where you just talk about it. It like consumes your life because you've got a little sniffle. Everyone needs to know about it. Some nice sun coming through. Pure bliss. So I keep meaning to put a map of where I am on the screen, but where I am, I really don't get any signal, so I just keep forgetting, like by the time I get home. So I'll do my best to remember. You'd have seen it already if I have remembered. All I've got to do is go through these woods, maybe 50 odd yards, and we'll be back to the car. And then when we get back home, it'll be time for dinner for both Freddie and myself. Plans for this evening: tidy up the house a little bit and just take another chilled evening, maybe watch a movie of some sort and just relax, just to try and recover as soon as possible, because I've got a very busy week of work ahead of me, and I also need to get back to the gym, because if you don't know, a big part of my life is the gym and physique development. I am a personal trainer, an online coach, a doggy parent, so health is always a priority. And it's no good feeling like crap while you're trying to promote a healthy lifestyle. If you watched the video, the walking video yesterday, you'd have heard me, this way mate, you'd have heard me talking about how this is all army land and how you do sometimes get soldiers here practicing, I don't know what you'd really call it, like out on exercise, is that the right terminology? And you can see these like dugout bunkers, sometimes they're sitting around these, resting, eating, and just doing their thing. So I've just spotted someone, so we're going to cut through this way, and then yeah, we'll be back safely to the car. Another successful dog walk in the Purbright Woods. The next walking video, it will be somewhere different. Let's see how Freddie navigates. Come on, mate. Doing. Definitely has a spring in his step. Yeah, we'll be going somewhere different for a walk. So we will keep the locations interesting. Well done, mate. So until the next one, Freddie and I will see you soon. Come here, mate. Good boy. Good boy. Well done, mate. I love you, mate.